Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Nature's Always Right. My name is Stephen Cornett. I'm a small-scale farmer, and welcome to my market garden. I started farming about 6 years ago with one of my best friends, Jared Smith, and we started a farm and learned a lot of things along the way. I helped him with his farm for about a year and a half. Then I did some traveling. I lived in another country for a while, and I came back. I started farming again for another 6 months. And then in this last year, I've been developing this property and learning all along the way, reading lots of different books, permaculture books, gardening books, farming books, listening to all sorts of podcasts. So now I've gotten to the point where I'm launching this farm now. So a little bit of my background, I'm very much into sustainable farming. To me, that means trying to create as many of your inputs on the farm as possible, reducing your cost, increasing your efficiency, and lowers your environmental impact, and just helps you to create a more efficient, cleaner, safer, better farm. Through my path of learning, I've started out with the square foot gardening method, Mel Brooks, that kind of pathway, and eventually evolving beyond that, getting Elliot Coleman's book, The Market Gardener, learning more about farming techniques and how to do it in regards to making money at this. Then slowly I moved into kind of permaculture. I read Fukuoka's book, The One Straw Revolution, and that was my introduction into permaculture and the idea of using nature and natural systems to run a farm, rather than bring in chemicals and pesticides and tractors and all of these things that I've now realized are unnecessary and actually just completely detrimental. I slowly moved to the permaculture world. I've gotten my permaculture design certificate and started beekeeping, grafting trees, planting lots of fruit trees, getting more into agroforestry. Now I'm studying more about like silvopasturing, using grazing animals and tree crops and annual crops in a system together. There's stuff like key lining, of all these different concepts. These are different things I want to talk to you about in my channel. We'll be covering simple, basic topics such as irrigation, watering, different plant varieties, raising simple vegetables. We'll be going into advanced topics like I just mentioned, like key lining, land development, land use, permaculture, land design, recipes, beekeeping, raising worms, everything related to natural systems. These are the things I want to talk about in my videos. One of the biggest influences on my farm, I would say, besides my buddy Jared, who I started farming with, would be Curtis Stone. And one of the main things I've learned from Curtis Stone is just how to analyze your crops and what's going to make you the most profit and cost you the least to produce it. On my farm, you will notice it's very tight and compact. I'm in a very small square footage. If you include everything that I'm growing on, it's like 3,000 square feet. My beds are 30 inches wide. My walkways are 10 inches wide, so it's very skinny walkways. But this allows me to fit in as many crops as possible in a small area. It also, when you're planting this tightly, it helps to crowd out weeds. I do everything no dig, no till. I only use a broad fork for mild soil disturbance and aeration. I'm going to cover all the things that I'm talking about in depth in all of my videos. Okay, so why Nature's Always Right? Why is that my name? I chose that name, actually my mom came up with it, thank you Mom. And I think it's perfect for my company and my farm because it fits right in with my philosophy that Natural systems are always superior to synthetic or human-made systems. As you may have studied about, like genetically modified crops or monocultures, it's obviously more efficient to grow only one crop in one area because you can harvest it with one machine very quickly, and you can plant it really quickly. But as we know, nature does not work that way. So when you try to create a false system, then it is destroyed. So what happens when they plant like that, they get tons of bugs, tons of weeds, tons of problems. They have to use pesticides. They genetically modified the seed so that when they spray the crops, the plant survives. All the other weeds and things die. They spray poisons to kill the bugs. But in reality, nature's already provided a system to deal with the bugs, to deal with the weeds, to deal with all these problems. So my solution is to use nature's solutions, always. Humans are always trying to dictate to nature what is truth, but that is impossible. Nature is already a perfect system. I don't believe that it can be truly improved upon. I think it can be assisted and guided, but it can't really be improved upon as far as the natural patterns of the planet cannot be altered. They should be protected, used as a pattern we can mimic, and that's it. We just need to tap into the natural patterns of the planet, and that will give us the most efficient farms, the most healthy food possible. So here's another example of doing things in a natural system. I barely brought in any soil to this land here. I probably brought in an inch across this whole 2,500 square foot area. I brought in an inch of potting soil. I did a cover crop and a sheet mulch out here, and this is what gave me my fertility. You can see how well my crops are doing. These are all the second plantings now. I planted bush beans here in the beginning. I've brought in a little bit of compost that I've made, but that is it. I did not bring any outside fertilizer in. I do not use any pesticides of any kind. What you see is what you get out here. Everything is incredibly healthy. I don't have aphids. I don't have worms. And this is because I'm supporting natural systems. I'm supporting the wildlife here. I'm encouraging insects of all types to come here to create a balance. And that's ultimately what Nature's Always Right is all about, and that's creating a balanced ecosystem, the closest we can mimic nature. That's what we want to do here. The purpose of this channel really is just to educate and inspire other gardeners and small farmers to illustrate techniques that I'm using and other farmers are using. I always want to try to include the latest things that market gardeners are doing so that we're always working in the most efficient ways possible. So the main thing I want to include in every single video is basically universal concepts and techniques that you can use in your home or on your farm. So universal techniques about plants that you can apply across the board. So one technique would be like, well, how often do I water my plants? Well, a pretty universal technique would be to just put your finger down 1 inch into the soil. You can dig it back or just put your finger in. If it's dry in the first inch of soil, for most vegetables, you're very safe to water them at that point. It also depends on the season, right? So I want to give advice that can be used so that you can take concepts, use critical thinking, your knowledge of the sun, your knowledge of the season, to make the right decisions for your plants or whatever your application is. So also in this channel, I really want to highlight design and experimentation. These are two things I'm really into and I find really fun. So that's going to be included a lot. I have, designs on building vermiculture systems, soldier fly systems, mealworm systems, building a chicken coop, how to raise chickens, irrigation system design, other little special techniques. Like this here, I planted carrots. A couple places in my carrots beds it wasn't good germination, so I've planted cilantro, dill, and parsley in the little blank areas so that I'm maximizing my space that I'm growing. So just little tips and tricks like that in every single one of my videos, as well as main concepts about plants. So I'll be releasing those videos slowly over this year, and I'm actually quitting my job next week. I'm very excited, and I'm going into this full time. I'll be at a farmer's market this Sunday for the first time. Future videos will be a lot better produced. I'll spend more time on making them, I was really focused on just building this farm and getting it done. So I'm really excited to kind of change gears. Yes, I'll be farming, but I want to change gears and really focus more on education. I want to bring people out to the property and teach them things. And there's a lot of articles I want to work on now and videos I want to make. I hope will really help people in their gardens and on their farms. So if all this is really interesting to you guys, please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. I've got so much to share with you guys. I can't wait to start producing it all. Please follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, all the social media platforms. I'm on all of them.